Hello everyone, Happy New Year! I'm Robert and this is the Scroll Ensemble Classical Music Improvisation channel. Varying a melody is a type of improvisation you can learn pretty easily. It just takes a bit of time and practice. So for your New Year's resolutions, why don't you join me in a little challenge? In this video I will tell you what kind of variations we're looking at, why you should join, how I approach it, and I will give an example so you can get started immediately. Oh, and of course, I will hopefully convince you that this is an easy approach that anyone can take. It's easy. You just need to take a little moment every day to sit down and practice. In the first lesson, you're just going to learn to add a little extra note if the original melody goes down a third, like this. Here we have a little melody, and we can add this note. I think most people can do that. I build it up very slowly, so I think anyone can do the beginning easily. I love teaching improvisation and have done so for more than a decade by now, so I hope you're willing to take a seat at my little table. So, what kind of variation style are we looking at? Related to our next concert on the 25th of January, I want to teach you how to make a variation in the style of Jacob van Eyck, who was an amazing 17th century improviser and recorder player based in the Netherlands. Oh, and he's depicted here in black. He looks a bit broody, but I think he was a really happy little dude. He was paid by the city of Utrecht to entertain passers-by with variations on famous tunes, and we're going to use those as our examples. There are a few reasons for this. He left us an incredible amount of variations which we can use as examples for our own. This also means you can keep learning yourself once you have the tools to look at what Van Eyck did. Van Eyck is also pretty consistent stylistically, so with some analysis we can even start predicting what kind of things he might use on new melodies. And this is a great way to learn. But also these improvisations are without accompaniment, which gives us so much more freedom. We don't have to think about chords and harmony for each note, but can really just think melodically, really just start those creative juices going. Also, we don't need MIDI accompaniments or a friend who will dutifully repeat the same few notes 100 times. We can do this all ourselves. And by the way, if you wanted to, you would immediately be ready for a performance as well on any melody you want. Furthermore, it's a great step into making diminutions in ensembles, although, well, there's a bit more scrutiny necessary there. And even it's a great way just to start improvising altogether. Most variation ideas in this course are universal classical music ideas that with fewer jumps can be used in older styles and with more chromatics in later styles. I'm very excited about approaching this through the melodies Van Eyck used himself. Each lesson we will look at an original melody and learn a new ornamentation idea. We will practice that idea in itself on the original melody, and then I will reveal how Van Eyck used it, as if Van Eyck is teaching us directly from the 17th century. Each lesson will build on previous ones, so you also keep repeating and varying ideas you already learned to strengthen those as well. Van Eyck often improvised several variations on the same song. Usually each variation gets more and more complicated, but in this course we're just focusing on the first variation, the simplest one. Going through and analyzing all of Van Eyck's variations, I made a 24-lesson course, jam-packed with ornamentation ideas. So for now I'm releasing a video every day, and the people who sign up this month will get a new video in their email box every day, as a gentle reminder to keep practicing. So now I will give you an example of how it works. Here is an example of an ornamentation idea that did not make it into the course, so it's a sort of extra pre-bonus, if you will, because I thought the ornament was a bit too long and it isn't used by Van Eyck as often. The ideas in the course itself are a bit more modular, shorter and simpler. Anyway, even if you don't buy the course, at least you will have learned a little something today. So here's the idea. When the original melody of the song goes down by step, you can replace it with this little melody. First, play the original melody, and now play the ornament on top. Accentuate the main notes so that you can really show your brain what is main note and what is ornament. Of course, later on you will play this much more musically. Now you can practice the ornament inside a scale. In the course, I give you the main notes, so just the C and the B flat and the A, but this ornament is a bit more complicated, so I've just written out for you what you're supposed to practice. So play the second line in the slide now to practice the ornament. This would be the moment to pause the video to do some of your own practice. You can also find the PDF of these slides on Patreon, aptly in our Van Eyck tier. And here are the steps written down as well. So here's the song that Van Eyck used this ornament in. It's called Beginnende door reden ons gegeven. And interestingly, almost only this ornament is what Van Eyck uses. This song is of course too long for a first lesson, another reason not to use it. So in the actual course, the first lesson will only be 8 bars and the ornament only 1 note, so it's much easier. Anyway, first play the melody as written, or perhaps maybe the first 2 lines. Now the next step would be, as in our green plan here, to just play it again and try to add the ornament wherever you think it might fit. And maybe the first time you will only manage once, or maybe the first time you play the whole melody and you just see one spot where, oh, I should have played it there, then you can come back and practice that spot. In this case, with this bigger ornament, it's maybe a bit trickier, so let's immediately go to step 5 and we will have a look at where we can use it. So, it's important to find a place where the original melody goes down by a step, and perhaps with this kind of length, because that will give us enough time to play all of those notes. So I've already put a cross in 2 instances where you can do this, and there's another one right there as well. Now it's time to try it again. And on the Van Eyck Patreon file, there's also a MIDI file that you can practice this with, so that you can keep the right speed, the pitch, etc., etc. Finally, there's also a worksheet where you can write down your version below the melody, which is also a great way to practice. Some people really need it. For some people, they don't like this approach, so it's up to you, but it's there. So now let's have a look at what Van Eyck did. It's a bit complicated in some places, again, I think unlike the actual course, but let's dive in. So first of all, it was surprising to me how little ornamentation Van Eyck has actually added, like in total. So all these kind of purpley notes, that's all the ornamentation he's added. And you can see there is so much of the original melody still there. You can see Van Eyck added a little cadence ornament here, da-da-dum. So instead of this, he just made it into this, very simple. And this is also one of the lessons in the actual course. And then there's also some other little ornaments here and here, all ideas that we will talk about in the course as well. Van Eyck's placement of the ornaments is interesting too. So let's have a look, for instance, here. Instead of starting on the first note of the bar, he starts in the middle. And also, as you can see, actually this is not a C of 4 beats. But somehow Van Eyck thought, well, actually, if I take this as 4 beats until here, then the next moment is just a step down. So this is still an original melody, C, blah, 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 B. And so I can add this ornament here. Maybe it's even clearer here. We have a B flat, there's some little ornamental flubble already. And then we have the A here. So the B flat and A, B flat of 1 bar, A of 1 bar, exactly as in our example. So we can use the ornament there, and that's what Van Eyck did. One little extra is this place here. So this is only for people who are a bit aware of Renaissance lingo and style. Don't worry if you don't quite know what I mean. So here you can see the ornament is the same shape, but actually it goes a step up first. So our version first goes down and then up. This one goes up immediately. I think probably this is because if we go to the C here, then we have an E here and a B flat here. So that kind of has a E, B flat, tritone kind of feel to it. So maybe Van Eyck was trying to avoid that here and just thought, oh, but then I can just put it a third higher and it works magnificently as well. At the same time, this also gives us an idea of how else to use this ornament. Perhaps it could work there as well, although then we have an E here as well, so not there. But in any case, this is another way to use that ornament. Finally, there are some places where I think you could use the ornament as well, even if Van Eyck didn't. I wrote these red crosses where I think you can use it. So this is of course where Van Eyck did, but not here. This also, if we look at the G, the next bar we have an F, so it's a step down. We can use the ornament here. Also D to the C, here B flat to the A, that's what Van Eyck did. Here Van Eyck used it here, but we could also use it from this D, from this E to this D, etc., etc. So there also you have an opportunity to improvise. If you have two options here in bar 14, either to start ornament on the C or on the D, although it's the same ornament, you're still in a way improvising. You're choosing in the moment which version to use. Then a next option would be to play the ornament faster, if you have fingers and the mind skills for that. So for instance, here you could do that, or here, and here even much faster. So that is another option. So now it's time for the real advertisement part of this ad. This month only, you can buy the course for 12 euros instead of 24. So that means it's even less than €1 per lesson. In the Patreon shop, you can go and buy it here, or you could even join my Patreon Paganini tier, which is even less. And you can then stay there for the goodies, all the extras for all the videos, but also every month there will be a lecture. There is already a lecture of almost 3 hours on 19th century improvisation, so that should keep you busy. The links to all of that are below in the description. I will also try to keep you up to date about my own Van Eyck learning progress through some shorts on the channel, so keep an eye out for those. Also, thank you to my new subscribers. Oh my god, what a growth these last 2 weeks. It's been mad, for me at least. And of course, thank you to my faithful patrons on Patreon. Again, on the Van Eyck tier, you can find the PDF of this presentation, an accompaniment file, and a worksheet. And of course, eventually in the Paganini tier, the full course.